mobility class, movement class. And for this class, you'll need 2 blocks, a mat, and some comfy clothes. And we'll get started lying down on our backs right away here. So you can bring your hands through your belly, on your belly. And I want you to think of your hips not just about these things on the sides here, right? But I want you to think about your hips as like your pelvis, your lower back, right? And the muscles at the bottom of your rib cage. Maybe you even imagine that your legs start at the bottom of your rib cage right away here. And go ahead and take yourself on a walk with your hips in the supine position with the knees facing up. Imagining that your legs come all the way up to your rib cage. And notice what shape you are making here. I personally sense a figure 8 motion. Maybe you sense the same thing. And I'll leave you to that for about 7 rounds of breath. Notice how one side may feel versus the other. Does one side feel more free than the other? Does one feel more natural than the other? Good, and go ahead and release that work for a moment. Lie down flat on your back. Maybe you extend your legs. Take a deep breath in through your belly. And then an open mouth exhale. Good, bend your knees and we'll lift up into a bridge pose. So pull the floor up with you as you lift your hips up into your bridge. Okay, take a deep breath in through your belly. And a long exhale out. Lower your shoulder blades down to your mat first. And then your middle back to your mat. And then finally your lower back reaches all the way down. Good, do that a couple more times, okay? So exhale, lift your hips and finding hip extension, and our glutes are such a huge portion of our hips, right? Lower shoulder blades down. Middle back down. And lower back comes down. Good, one more time. Exhale, lift your hips, finding your bridge, reach your knees forward. Maybe feel that stretch through your quadriceps as you isometrically or energetically reach those knees forward toward your toes. Good, breath in. Good, breath out, lower shoulder blades to the mat. Middle back comes down. Nice, and then lower back comes down. Beautiful, good. Hug your knees in towards your chest and rock side to side here. Giving your lower back a gentle massage. Good, bring your knees in towards your face and then come up to a seat. Okay, so we're going to do some 50-50 rotations here. So what I want you to do is bring your left shin across, right? And your back shin, your right shin, this is my right and left. I'm not sure if it's mirrored or not. And you're gonna create a somewhat of a 90-degree shape with both legs here, okay? If this is feeling like a lot for you, you can just stay here. No worries there. But we're going to, again, think about rotating. Now I'm gonna face behind me now. So I'm gonna allow this back knee to lift, right? And my toes are lifting off the floor on the back side. And it's the strength of my hip pulling my whole body over to face toward my couch over here. Okay? Good, take a breath in, nice tall spine. Good, on your breath out, now you're gonna lift your back heel, and then you're gonna rotate. Now my back knee, my left knee is, again, or I guess my left hip rather, is pulling my whole body over to face the front again. So again, if you can see, lift that heel, and then my hip is the initiator of the movement to face toward my couch. Again, if this is a lot for you, you can just stay on the floor in a 50-50 position. In fact, if you're still sitting on the floor, you can switch like this. So you can switch back and forth, but we'll go ahead and wait to do that, right? But as long as you're sitting on the floor here, getting acquainted with the floor. Good. Now we'll go ahead and relax that. Bring your legs out to the sides, knees bent here, right? And just kind of like feel around for where your mobility is at here. Like, where do you feel the stretch happening as you lean your torso forward and lean it back, right? Lean your torso forward and lean it back. Just a couple of times like that, rocking forward and back on your sits bones, right? This is the back of our pelvis, the back of our hips that you're feeling here on your floor. Nice. 3, 2, and 1. Relax. And now we're just going to rotate toward, this is my right? And then we're just going to switch, lift the legs and switch, right? Lift the legs and switch. And there's no right or wrong way to make this be. The idea behind it is we're just getting nice and acquainted with the floor here. Like, is it hard for you? Is it easy for you, right? But again, I'm very acquainted with the floor, and even floor work for me is just, it always feels like something new is happening. There's so much to pay attention to. Your breath, your state of mind, right? The energy you feel like you're emitting. Do you feel like sluggish? Do you feel energized? Good. 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful work. Go ahead and bring your left foot behind you, and then your right foot will come forward here in this like kneeling stance. You're gonna roll on to your shin, and then you're gonna sit back onto your bottom. Okay, so if you feel like this isn't available to you, you can sit on top of a block, right? Because then that way, like, again, my butt isn't like all the way onto my shin. You can do a double block seat as well. And again, you're gonna lean forward onto your shin, and then use your hips. You're gonna send your hips back into your block or the floor to come back down. Good, couple more times like that, leaning forward, and then reaching back through your hips as you come back. Nice. Making sure we're breathing. Breath in to come forward. Breath out to sit back. Breath in to reach forward. Breath out to sit back. One more time, breath in. And breath out. Good. We'll do the other side. So roll onto your shin, either butt on the floor or on a couple blocks. And again, you're gonna lean forward, breath in, and then sit your butt back. Breath in, reach forward. And I'm finding this nice rounding through my back here. And I'm almost allowing my tailbone to tuck underneath intentionally as I lean forward. I feel like sometimes we're just taught a lot to always arch the back, always arch the back. So it's nice to get that rounding. I know that we might be in posterior tilt a lot for our office work, but again, intentionally doing it versus habitually doing it, it's a completely different experience. When things become in our awareness, then we can play with it, right? You're like, oh, I tend to arch my back, like tuck my tailbone underneath my body, right? When I'm standing, when I'm talking, when I'm doing whatever, right? And to do it in a class, like intentionally doing it, it's a different energy. It's different. Like you have more electricity going to that space with that awareness. I think we've done a lot on this side at this point. And go ahead and release. Good. Next, we're gonna do some half kneeling balance work. So what's gonna happen here is we're gonna come onto your knees, and this might be really challenging for some of you. So step one is that you're just gonna step your foot forward and step it back, right? If you feel like you don't have the hip flexion to bring the knee forward and back like this, then what I'm gonna have you do is I'm gonna have you, again, rotate out to the side and then come through, right? So rotate out to the side and come through. And in fact, everyone just do that, right? Out to the side and come through. Good, we'll do that 2 more times. Out to the side and come through. Nice, good, 1 more time. Out to the side and come through. Nice, go ahead and bring your knee back down. And we'll do the other side. So again, we're gonna step out to the side and come through. Step out to the side. Oh, I think I'm doing this wrong. We're stepping all the way back onto the knee. There we go. And then externally rotate. There we go. And then step forward. Woo. Good, a couple more times. Lean out, come back, come forward. Woo. Come back, lean forward, and come through. Woo. All right, so now we're gonna build upon that. So that's option 1 for you. Option 2, you're gonna bring your arms out to the sides and you're gonna balance on one knee. Okay, I'm balancing on my right. I'm gonna find hip extension here. So what that looks like, take careful note of my hip, how I'm not like arching my back, right? I'm not arching my back. And I might need to use my couch to steady myself here. So again, you're gonna have that hip extension without arching that back. And then you're gonna externally rotate the hip like we were doing, stepping out, bringing the knee out to the side, foot out to the side, and then you're gonna step all the way down to the floor. Good, find your hip flexion, then your hip external rotation, and then find your hip internal rotation. Let's see if I can do this without holding on to anything. Internal rotation, ooh, ooh, ooh. Right? And then pull the knee back underneath the hip, okay? So we'll do that on the same side. So hip extension, external rotation, guiding that leg all the way forward. Good, a couple more times, moving nice and slow with it. Internal rotation. So again, my knee is facing in as I guide it back. Hip extension, external rotation. This will be my last one here. All right, good. Go ahead and release that. And again, that's great work for both hips. So one is doing some active work and the other one is doing some stability work. And we'll do the other side now. So hip extension, external rotation, yeah, and then slow and steady. That's it. Good, 3 rotations. Again, you can play around with taking your hand off of a support. And I hope you have one. Maybe it is 2 blocks here. And that's it. Sit on your booty, sit on your back, and just make some 2 circles with your heels here. So I'm gonna draw a circle to the outside with the right, I suppose counterclockwise, or clockwise with my right and counterclockwise with my left, to just release out through the hips here a few times. So counterclockwise with the left, clockwise with the right. Nice. 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and relax. Take a deep breath in and open mouth, exhale. Yeah, feels good. All right, next on the list, and this will be our last bit of work here, it will be a deep squat with some knee reaches or internal and external rotation. So this is a great spot for you to use your blocks. So option 1 is to use 2 blocks or 1 block, and you'll sit on top of the blocks here. And we're gonna guide the knee in, and I'm staying on my big toe here and just finding internal rotation, reaching my knee down, right? And then we're gonna nice and gently come back up. So with this kind of like movement practice, at least the goal of my classes is to find more ease. We're not trying to like force anything. We're not trying to muscle through anything. We're just trying to find ease and the path to least resistance. And I think this will carry out into your life if you approach your movement practice in this way. Nice. 3 and 2 and 1. I realized I never showed the progression from that, but that's cool. That means we can progress from here. So option, again, to stay on the blocks. Otherwise, if you feel like you're kind of open and maybe you want to check in with your deep squat, you're going to sink low in that deep squat. And a deep squat, I guess you could be on the balls of the feet. I mean, I'm not so against that. Yeah, I mean, it strengthens the foot, so you could hang out in your deep squat this way. But again, if you're working towards a deeper squat, try and get your heels to the floor, hands to the floor. Also, hands can be on top of blocks as well. So now we're going to play around with the knee reaches. So you're going to reach your left or right knee down, doesn't really matter, and then find a rotation. And then come back to center, reach your opposite knee down, and then find a rotation. So we can continue this back and forth, and what this will look like with 2 blocks will be like this. Ooh, I'm feeling that hip though, for sure. Guys, and go ahead and finish up. We'll all meet in our version of a deep squat. Root down through your feet, stand all the way up. Good, and then take a moment here to recognize what it feels like to stand on 2 feet, especially with all that hip movement, right? How does it feel now to stand on 2 feet? Gosh, I feel like I could conquer the world now. My hips are open. And that's all I have for you. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and feel free, I mean, to comment in the comments if that was too much talking. I really would like to know that. Otherwise, I can make a similar video to this and without much talking, like progression over and over again. So hopefully you enjoyed this. Peace out, and I'll see you on the mat. Bye.